they were supposed to clean it out, because I wanted to listen to last month, they said, oh, no, we want to, we want to clean it out, even the day I showed up, and the example.
Stay busy.
I'm sure you are.
Staying busy. Staying distracted. This Shannon.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. It's a great big day. One of my friends texted this morning, 6:45. She's like, man, I'm taking a bath. It's storming. I was like, I'm halfway to Cincinnati. I'm glad you're having a good morning. It's definitely a lazy day. Do I need to wear this mic? Okay. Celeste and I have been, like, I took my jacket off and we just tore into it. We've just been cleaning and organizing. My favorite thing to do. What if you tore apart? I was a little infamous for that. She'd come in for work and I'd be like, guess what? I should get all the kitchen cabinets. We're gonna organize.
Right, but like I would come in and it was just all in the kitchen. Like, here we go.
Guess what? We have a
This
project.
is what we're doing.
Well, that's how you start. You gotta take it all.
That's how my day starts every day. Like, it doesn't matter if it's that or something else, like, we're gonna just jump into the big thing, you know, like. Oh, yeah. Well, it's time. It's like 4:12.
It's 12:01.
Okay, that too.
Classroom meeting room, whatever, so that you can hear, and then you have the other training. So that's room 12, and that's Tara.
Hi, I'm Tara.
Well, that's the issue, the federal operations manager, so.
Did you get to?
Yeah.
Since I saw you last?
Yeah.
It's been like 6, 7.
So,
5 or 6
Yeah.
years, something like that. Yeah, everything on.
Can we get the fireplace going?
Huh? And it's what I said. I'm like, this is like a nap somewhere today. This should be napping. Yeah. Yeah, I got some new ink.
Did you?
Are we recording this?
Just a little bit.
Okay. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I got more planned, so it'll be.
It's a problem. We're running out of canvas.
Yeah.
But we're always fine. You always find space for the most important things.
I haven't even got started yet.
I started in my, I started in my like people go, oh my gosh, like, do you regret it? I was like, oh, I just did it like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
She hasn't had enough time to regret it yet.
yeah, like
Tracy's
it's still,
online.
who is Tracy?
Tracy Buckner is
Okay,
online. So you are live streaming to YouTube
great.
and we're all good to go.
Thank you.
Anything else for me?
Nope. Okay. Just help all these guys build amazing teams.
Yes.
And join teams and do all the team things, because that's what we're here to talk about. Okay, y'all know me, but if you don't know me, if y'all know me, I need to do an official introduction. I'm Tara. I'm the operating principal. I have been licensed for 20 years, almost 20 years. And I actually came to Keller Williams in 2013 because I was burning out. Like I was experiencing extreme burnout. I was a stay-at-home mom and my husband worked in corporate America. He worked for Walmart. And I did my real estate business kind of around his schedule. And then my business started growing, and he got more and more tired of corporate. And he ended up coming into business with me. And I focused on listings and he focused on buyers. And we were kind of wired for that, actually. And we did that for a while. And then, yeah, just more business came up. It's like, this is a number you may want to write down or remember, but if you're managing your business well, you should be experiencing about a 20% increase year over year. So if we're doing 20% increase year over year, you can expect that at some point in time, you're going to run out of time, right? Because that number starts compounding. And so I looked up, hi, Jenny Jenkins. I'm so glad you're here for this class. You could come up and help me teach it, probably. Yeah, but you look up over time and you realize that you could be burning the candle at both ends, and so that was happening. My husband and I, were both running, we were managing the kiddos, the house, all the other stuff. And it got to the point in 2013 where like I had leads coming in, people calling me, and I was like, why will these people not stop calling me? Like I was getting angry at their call, which I do this because I love people, I mean, honestly. And so I was not calling people back, but I knew we were losing business, but it was just like, I didn't have. So, I did a deal with a guy in 2013 that, normal transaction, at the end of the transaction, he said, hey, you were awesome to work with. I'd love to go grab a coffee and learn a little bit more about you, talk about your business, and just share some things that we've been working on that's been super helpful. So I went and had the coffee. At the coffee, he gave me this book, right? You heard this story? He gave me this book, not the Spiral Bound, just the regular MREA. And at that point in my career, I had only read one real estate book, and it's still one of my top 2 favorites. It was written by Barbara Corcoran, and it's called If You Don't Have Big Breasts, Wear Ribbons in Your Pigtails. That's the name of her book. It's like a bestseller for real estate. It's like the rise of her whole career. And it's a picture of her, and her whole story is like, you don't have to be like everybody else. Just be uniquely you and do a great job, and you can do anything you can imagine to be possible. And I love that book. So I got, yeah.
Didn't she start off as a waitress?
I think she did.
This is the one that's on the Shark Tank, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Like
and
her
it's like New
story.
York.
And like she was rising, like she was getting into like high levels of success too, in a time where I don't think a lot of females were doing that. So there was a lot of pushback. It was a great book. So this was book number 2. Now remember, I'm in burnout. I'm already like, I don't even enjoy this anymore. And I took the book home and I read the entire book front to back during a weekend. I wouldn't advise that, but I did it. And I picked up the phone and I called the guy and I said, hey, I don't know what I need to do next, but this book, like I need to come talk to somebody about how to do this. And he's like, you need to come in and talk to our team leader. So I came in, that was the team leader, and I moved my business 3 weeks later. And I actually moved it because they told me I could actually work less, I could sell more, work less meaning not work nights and weekends and make more money. And I was like, what? Yeah, they were like, yeah, like you can actually, your business can double, triple, quadruple in size, and you can work half the amount of time and you'll make more money and you get your life back. And I'm like, well, that doesn't, we teach this in 6 personal perspectives, like the 80-20, it's like the law of, like, it doesn't make sense, right? Like we think if we work more, we make more, or we do more and we make more, but it actually doesn't actually happen that way. So you can work smarter. Hi, ladies. You can work smarter. You can scale your business, take back your time, and continue to build a business that grows without you. What are some examples of companies that we know that do that, by the way? Like somebody starts a business and the business runs, but they don't do all the jobs.
Uber.
What? Uber. Uber. Yeah. Oh, Uber, Amazon. Where else?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Where else? I mean, where else?
General construction.
Everything.
Nice jobs, yeah.
Like if I went out today and I bought a McDonald's franchise, I'm a business owner. I would not go in every day and work at 7 a.m. midnight and make all the burgers, all the fries, serve all the clients, do all the surveys, clean the kitchen. I wouldn't do that. Does that make sense? So traditional business, when you think like a business owner, business owners, they launch businesses with the intent that at some point they're not going to do all the jobs. And they're going to hand them over to other people, and they're going to step back And they're gonna let that business grow and make profit without them managing every part of it. So that's what we're gonna talk about today, okay? The title of the class today is the good, the bad, and ugly of real estate teams. I've got a list of things like we can talk about. I wanted to kind of start with my story because that is this book. So I came to Keller Williams. I did move my business. I had 37 active listings when I moved my business. So I had a big business. And I moved my business over. And there was a guy at the company I worked for that I really liked. So I called him before I moved. And I said, hey, I'm going to Keller Williams. I think you should come and join my team. And guess what? He came. And he was an older guy, a single guy, had nothing to do. And he's like, I'll tell you what, I'll run all the leads you don't want to run. You want me to do it nights, weekends, whatever, I'll go do that business. And then you can do the rest. I said, okay. And I did that. And I started handing him deals that I honestly didn't want to talk to him. I told you guys, burn out. So it was like, I was either going to hand it to him and get 50%, or I was probably not going to service it well and I was going to get nothing. So I just started handing this guy deals. He started closing them. And that year I grew, my business went from 5 million in sales to 10 million. I doubled my business my first year and I did it just through leverage. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, I don't ever have to work as a weekend again. That was kind of the startup. That was the startup. So this book, if you don't own a copy, I would highly recommend you get a copy, you read it. I actually have the spiral bound version. We sell these here. I think they're $40. This should be an operation Kindle. The intent of this is not to read it. Can't digest it in one read. I've probably read mine 6 or 7 times, but you're going to go to it when you have questions and you're going to look things up in it like it's a manual. Okay. So Millionaire Real Estate Agent, let's talk about this. Anybody have thoughts or questions from that first little, like, why we're here? Is that helpful to hear a little bit? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to draw on the board if I can find a marker. Okay. So when you start in real estate, how many of you guys are individual agents? Most everybody, right? So when you start in real estate, you start as an individual. So this is solo agent. Does anybody know at what point a solo agent should start to look for leverage, meaning your time, quality of life, or your service and experience of the consumer starts to diminish? How many transactions are we doing when we start to look for leverage?
I was gonna say 25, 30.
It's actually 24-ish to 25 to 30, we'll say. So how many transactions a month is that?
2.
2. Is that a lot? It's not a lot. It's not a lot. So this is 24 units, solo agent. This is when we should start looking for an admin. Okay, and I watched this. I've been meeting Mr. Brown for a long time, but I watched this get real squirrely during COVID. When we talk about hiring an admin, so I want you guys to open this packet. So right now, everybody in this room is here. It's you, right? This is level 1 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Level 2 is I'm going to go hire an admin. I'm going to go hire an admin. Now I want you to write this down. There's a couple ideas in there. 24 units. About 24 units is when we should be doing this. This hire is in person. So this is where we got real squirrely during COVID. A lot of agents went out and hired VAs. I have a VA, by the way. I've had him for 5 years. He's great. If I were running a sales organization, a real estate team, when I had my real estate team, I had an in-person executive assistant. Couple of things there. I went on Indeed. Sometimes people ask how I hired her. I went on Indeed and I ran an ad just like I would if I owned McDonald's or Amazon or any other business. And I had people submit resumes and I looked for people that had a track record of success in administrative work. So what I see often, none of you guys, but your star students. But what I see often is real estate agents, hey, my best friend's daughter just graduated high school and I'm gonna hire her as my executive assistant. Happens all the time. Hey, my friend, she wants to get her license at some point, but right now she just needs money, so I'm gonna pay her to work for me part-time. And what happens is it doesn't work out, right? Because you're gonna get the quality based on how you hire and what you go look for. And the other thing I see is agents hire VAs or virtual assistants. And a virtual assistant cannot replace your physical presence in your business every day. But an in-person executive assistant can. What do I mean by that? If I come in the morning, so also 2016, I hired a MAPS coach. That was really my first hire. And my MAPS coach at the time said, hey girl, we gotta hire an executive assistant. I wanted to sell 75 units that year. The year before, I think I'd sold like 35. She said, cool, you're down a person, you need to go hire an executive assistant. I said, okay, well, what's that gonna cost? First of all, MAPS coach was an investment, right? $1,000 a month. She said, okay, here's about what we'll spend on the assistant. I said, okay. She goes, and also you need to go rent an office. Now, I was actually a single mom at that time. So now I got my MAPS coach, my admin, and my office. And I'm at about $5,000 a month in overhead. Like that, right? Got a salary, I got an office rent, and my MAPS coach. So, but the thing is I was over 24 units and I trusted her. And she knew how to run this model and I executed the plan. And so she walked me through hiring an executive assistant. She got up every day. She got dressed like a professional. She drove in and worked in an office every day. And if I wasn't physically in the office, guess what? I could send my clients up to the brokerage and they could ask for some income. And she could give them copies, she could collect escrow checks. She was my right hand for anything I needed. And she sat there all day long and worked on my database. She tracked my numbers, she did my marketing, and she did touch points with my clients. My business went from about 35 units to almost 80 units that year. So I want to make sure you know this. When you hire number 2, if you hire the right person, your business should double. It should double. Okay. So when we hire an admin, our business should double. So I want you guys to do some quick math. Okay, quick math. On your sheet of paper, I want you to write down the number of contacts you have in your database right now. So how many people do you know? Whether it's your cell phone, your CRM command, a spreadsheet, doesn't matter to me, but how many people are in your database? And really think more about who do I know? Like if you've lived in Cincinnati your whole life, you should probably have more than 1,000 people. Like everybody you know, friends, family, people I went to school with, my social media friends, the contacts of my cell phone, the people my wife works with, whoever it is. So who has a number that they would be willing to share? What's your number? 3,000. Okay. So Adrian's number is 3,000. So we know this. This is math that we study. Keller Williams studies it. National Association of Realtors studies it. Realtor.com, NAR, all of it, that the number of people you know, 6% of those are going to transact every year. So that's not going to be a fun number. What is that number for you? 1% is 30. Is that 30 times 6? Is it 360? I just took the number of contacts in my phones. Yeah, that's fine. It's 180. 180? So 3,000 times 6% is 180? Okay, so this is how many units Adrian's database should be converting every year. So you guys all have your number. So question, are you closing that many units? Is anybody in here closing that number? They're close, okay. Are they all from your database?
90%.
Okay, that's good. That's really good. So if Adrian, we're closing 180 units, at the average GCI, we're gonna use $10,000. Is that 1.8 million? I think. 180 times 10,000. So what does your admin do? I've got a whole sheet of what they do, and I'll give it to you guys. We know exactly the job description, what their priorities are, all the extra stuff. But the number one thing is this admin is gonna farm your database. So I guess, let me ask you this. Would you trade, I'm gonna just do quick math. Would you trade $50,000 to make 1.8 million? Or whatever your number is? I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna say no to that, but that's what that does. You invest in a human that goes and gets a return. Because for most agents, maybe not the Shelbys, but we know we could be doing a better job. How many of you guys feel like you should be doing better with your database? How many of you feel like you should be doing better on social media? How many of you feel like you can probably do better on tracking your pipeline and your numbers? How many of you could do better on your business budget? Okay, the honest truth is, it's like, we're just not good at it. It's not how you're wired. You're a great salesperson, you're just not honestly wired for it. So as soon as you can invest in somebody that's wired for it, they're gonna go do that 10 times better than you are anyway. What I find is agents, business. So if you guys will know what this is, what is this?
Ebbs and flows of real estate.
This is ebbs and flows of your business, right? What I see with agents I coach or I meet with about their business is it looks like this. Their business grows. They hit a ceiling like this. Then what happens?
Drops.
And then they get burned out. That was me. And then it goes down. Sometimes it goes up. They go, oh, I can do this. And then it goes like this. This is a ceiling. It's usually 24 plus units. And it's usually you're missing a person. And probably 80% of the top producers in our industry, if they went and hired an admin, their business would double or triple. So you tell me, why don't we do it? Why don't we hire the person? Other than maybe you didn't know, now we know. So why do you guys think people don't hire administrators?
Fear.
Fear, that's probably the right answer. What are we afraid of?
Fear of failure.
Failure, money,
Picking the right person.
picking the right person, yeah. So the number one thing that I see, and I say this to people, is they don't know who to hire. They don't know how to pay them. They don't know how to train them, and they're afraid they're gonna leave them. And the cool thing about Keller Williams is we have the answer to all four of those things. We have a training called Career Visioning. It starts with an assessment called the KPA. So if you haven't had your KPA done, Melissa or Patrick can send it. You can sit down and validate it or verify it. So we can teach you, we can help you know who to hire because we have job descriptions. We know exactly what the role should do. We know exactly-ish, we have a model for how to pay them. Who trains them? Hopefully not, I mean, you might. I'm gonna say hopefully not you, but they can come to the 50 or 60 classes in this market center. They can get on the technology training we have every day at 1 o'clock. They can go shadow another great team. They can take training through Max Coaching. And Monica Reynolds teaches an amazing course called the Perfect Real Estate Assistant. I hired mine and I enrolled her in that class. And I literally sat her down the first day and I said, so here's the deal. I have no idea what to do. I don't have a single system. I don't have a single spreadsheet. I don't have a 3-ring binder. Everything that I do is here in my head. And so we're gonna pay somebody to teach you how to get it out of my head and build it. That's what I did. Put her in coaching for 6 months. She built an operation manual for my team. And everything I did kind of like naturally, not knowing, but you know, we do the same things, right? You have your own systems you use. She just documented them. So then when we went to hire a buyer's agent, guess what we did? This is our team systems, because the goal is to get that hire to get the same or better results as you. So when you document those systems, you're not gonna document them, your admin's gonna document them. Now we can go duplicate what you do into other teams. Get the same or better result. Is this making sense? It's a lot, so I know I'm kind of talking in circles, so. But we do have a process for who to hire, how to pay them, how to train them, and how to retain them. So, I'm gonna show you this, and I can send this out to you guys. But this is all in Connect, I have these in my Google Drive, so I gave you guys the MREA org charts. So we went level 1, 1, 2. What's level 3 on here, by the way? Transaction coordinator. That person can be virtual. Guess who manages the transaction coordinator? The admin that's sitting next to you in your office. So you say, hey, I need this, and she goes and tells that person to do it. Right? Now, if you're an individual agent right now and you need leverage to get to 24 units, we have in-house transaction coordination, and they're phenomenal. So leverage it temporarily until you can hire an executive assistant. So individual agent with an admin can do about 50 to 60 units. One agent and one full-time admin can do about 50 to 60 units. So that's level 2. This is 50 to 60 units. At about 50 units, you will start to need to think about hiring a full-time transaction coordinator. Because financially, that hire doesn't make sense unless you have a certain number of units. Because you're usually paying them per unit. So think about it this way, if I'm paying my transaction coordinator $400 a pop, and I'm doing 50 units, that's a $20,000 a year gig. It's not much. At 60, 70, 80, now we're talking like 30, 40,000, right, per unit total. And that person can work for you full-time in TC, and they can also take on other administrative tasks like EA and so executives. But it doesn't make sense to have a full-time transaction coordinator unless you're like 50, 60, 70 units. So, okay, so that's the org chart. And you guys will see as you look through here, the next hire after the PC is we hire inside outside sales or a showing assistant. These would be full-time. So you guys know right now you could leverage showings. We've got a really great app that you can just drop a showing request in. You can pay an agent for a one-off showing. It's called KeyPlease. Yeah, KeyPlease. KEYPLEAZ. Everybody should download that. If you're a newer agent, you can receive showing requests and go show and get paid for them. And if you're an existing agent, send them out to people. And it goes, by the way, that goes company-wide across all 4 of our offices. So if you have, like, honestly, if you're licensed in Kentucky, you can actually send a showing down to Lexington. An agent can show it, and you could write the contract up here.
I put the app on. Do you know somebody and call them and say, hey, or do you strictly go through KeyPlease? I don't even know how to.
When a showing request goes out in KeyPlease, it notifies everybody in KeyPlease, but you gotta be logged into it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then it's gonna go out based on the location of the showing, and it's kind of like speed to lead. It's the first one to grab it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They usually picked up pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how many people have downloaded it here, but yeah, they're picked up pretty fast.
If it just comes.
This app is connected to our core offices.
Oh,
Yeah, there are other showing companies that do align across all brands. Show On Me, I think, is one of them. But our four offices have these, and you can do showing requests all over, so. Okay, so this would be inside outside sales for showing assistant. We often also see people here start to bring in like a buyer's agent. Which is what I did with my guy, a little backwards, but. Why would we maybe hire an admin before we hire a buyer's agent on our team or a showing assistant? I did, I had my admin manage to track the numbers, the leads, like. If I handed my buyer's agent a lead, it went to my admin first and she put it on a sheet. And then she distributed it, so we knew we weren't losing the leads. And then I would, because I might be driving down the road and get a lead, and I'd be like, Selena, can you get this to this agent? She'd log it. You can do all this in command now. She would assign it in command, right, essentially. And then we could go back and follow up on those leads to make sure they were working them appropriately. But she did help me manage my team. The other thing is, if you're an individual agent and you hire other agents, the administrative piece is part of your value proposition. Right? Like you guys have been with TCG at some level or yeah, for some time, like they're paying for you to provide services and make them able to sell more and not have to do all that stuff. So a lot of agents joining teams want to office in the market center. They want to have leads, they want to have marketing, all the other things. So, and then you guys will see as we go through this, I just want you guys to see that, level 4, 5, 6, and 7. Everybody flip back to level 7. Because I actually know this sheet. Let's see if he's 7 or. Yeah. So who do we know that's level 7? Peter Schimmering, yeah. Peter built this. He doesn't have expansion. Actually, they are expansion now. He is expansion. So Peter built his business. He hired James. I'm going to say James, the CEO, right? And now Peter moved to Utah, and they're building a team in Utah. Or Lynn is building a team in Utah. I think these prospects that I don't get seven. I don't know Peter's exact math, but I know it enough. I have roundabout numbers enough. So, just so you know, when you are a CEO, he now owns a business. In the MREA, it tells us that you never exit completely. Even as the CEO of a business, you're probably 2 or 3 hours a week in that business. Whether it's just watching the numbers, talking to your CEO, right? But Peter's business, I don't know what y'all's numbers are, but I think the goal is to close around 700 units this year. So, you guys do that math. 7 million in GCI. He's gonna pay an administrative team, right? The rest is a cost of sale. And, he's probably netting $1.5 to $2 million a year, maybe more in net profit. So all he did, like Peter's winning thing in my mind is he's disciplined and he's resilient. So he has messed this up more times than he's gotten it right. If you guys didn't know that, he'll tell you that. He's done multiple evolutions of this team, and yet he just continued to hire coaches, study the models, put things in place, study the market, get the right people in the right seats so that he could then step away. And by the way, I knew he was going to Utah for 5 years ago. That's how long it took him to get there. Right? Like that's been where he was headed for the last 5 years. He just kept getting up and working on this and working on this so we get them. So that's the org chart, organizational chart. Anybody have questions on this? Does this kind of help to see how it grows and scales?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about, okay, so up here, you guys will see, and I can share this in the Facebook group. These are also in Connect, but every single job that we have in our organization, we have a job description for. So this is the executive assistant. KW gives you the job description. It's all editable. All I do when I'm hiring somebody is I copy that and I paste it in Indeed. I tweak it a little bit and I run an ad. Kind of like rinse and repeat. So we have job descriptions. We also have a training program for what they're supposed to do in their first 90 days. Also editable. So like, what is the focus for the first 90 days when you hire someone? We call that the 30, 60, 90. And then if you kind of like red light, green light them, each step of that, they teach all of this in career visioning. It's like a 2-day course. It's awesome. And then this segment they also have in Connect is kind of like, how do we pay people? A lot of people say like, how do I pay? I mean, we've got models for best practice for how to pay buyer's agents and showing assistants and executive assistants and support staff and all of that. It's all in here. So you don't have to guess at this. You can actually use the best practice model. Do you guys want to have an idea on executive assistant, how to pay them? Most things in our business, whether it's on the brokerage side or in the sales team, you want to have a low fixed cost and then some sort of transactional addition. So when I hired my last assistant, she, her daughter was in elementary school, so she wanted to drop her off at school and she wanted to pick her up every day. She wanted to be in the school line. I was like, okay, we can make that happen. She got into the office at 7:45 a.m. and she left every day around 3:50. She was about 30 hours a week. I paid her a salary of, I think it was about $17, $18 an hour. So I think I paid her $32,000 base salary. And then she got $100 per transaction when they close. And then I gave her a bonus on deals she generated out of my database or she brought to the table. Couldn't pay her commission, but I did kind of like a finder's fee in her salary. And so what I did is I set her down and I said, how much money do you need to make? She said, I need to make 50 grand. I said, okay, I'm not writing you a check for 50 grand. That was scary for me, but I can get you to 2,500 a month, basically. And then every time we close a deal, you're going to get another $100. So that added on another, like, let's say 10 grand. And then if you go find me one transaction a month, that's another block. And I said, and this is how we're going to get to 50. So it shouldn't just be salary, it should be a mix. And then best practice would be, especially if you're considering hiring this person, start to set aside about 3 months of an administrative salary. Because it does take a little time to get them up and going. They gotta get trained. So you don't wanna have no money, go hire an admin and then your business drops. Maybe because you're working with them or training them. So if you're gonna pay an admin $3,000 a month salary, I would put a nest egg of 9,000 or 10,000 in your operating account, your business operating account. And then you got a little bit of a runway. You don't want to be stressed out right now about that. It's an investment to get the return mainly on the database that you're not getting. So, but that's all in Connect under leverage resources already. Okay. All right, so let's talk about quick team. I'm going to talk to you guys about team versus groups, the basic team setup, Rainmaker kind of best practices, and then coaching. So what's the difference between a team and a group? Anybody know?
Operating agreement.
Operating agreement? Oh, that would be like kind of like if you were doing a partnership or a like a solo partner. What would that be? like a solo owner versus a multi-owner. I like it. Close, yeah. Team and group. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the Keller Williams kind of definition of this. And the main reason this is important to people is for awards. Being really honest. Okay, so if you decided you wanted to start a real estate team, you could absolutely go register your business, state of Ohio, and register the business name, and you might call it the Adrian Shipman Group or whatever. And it, for in the Keller Williams world, it might be classified as a team. So I'm gonna tell you how the classifications work for awards. And then I'll just tell you, like, you can always pick whatever name you want outside that, okay? But I would always think for the future when you're planning. Okay, so we have a solo agent. That's solo. At Keller Williams, we have what's called, this is an agent and an admin. An agent and an admin, whether they're licensed or unlicensed, that's called solo agent team. That's an award bracket, solo agent team. And then we have teams. I'm doing this backwards, sorry guys. This is 2 licensed agents. Licensed agents. And then we have groups, which is groups are 3+ licensed agents. That's it. A team. So we call all of it team, like as an umbrella, but an official team is 2 licensed agents and an official group is 3 or more. Okay? At Keller Williams, at least. There are regional awards, national awards, and market center rankings based on where you fall inside it. So some people are very strategic. Like, I coached a girl out of Alabama. I still coach her. I've coached her for like almost 10 years. She wanted to get $1 million a year in her business. She was a solo agent. She hired 1 person, team, and she would not hire another one because the competition in the group category was so much bigger than if she stayed a team. So we hit that number with her and another agent. And it's pretty cool thing. So be strategic when you decide what you want to do.
Once you hire a buyer agent, you're considered a team.
Yeah. Once you hire a
Or
buyer,
a showing assistant, same thing, right?
if they're licensed, yeah. So,
Have to be licensed to be a showing assistant?
yes, yeah, anybody licensed, it's not just administrative, yeah.
For any paperwork to go from a team to a group or to just a seat kind of process.
There's not paperwork for that, but we have paperwork in the market center that you've got to fill out to run a team. And I'm gonna talk to you about that. Let me come back to that. Okay, can you guys see this okay? I feel like I'm all the way over here. It's weird. Okay, so I'm gonna show you traditional team. Traditional team, we have what we're gonna call a rainmaker. We call this person rainmaker or mega agent. This is a rainmaker. If you hear mega, it's usually 10 million plus. Just classification, but rainmaker is the lead agent. In team setup, what generally will happen is this person gets 24 units or more. They hire an admin, right? They start to build out their sales agents. So then they decide to hire maybe a buyer's agent. Now in traditional MREA, it's specialized. We have listing agents and we have buyer's agents. You can do that. It's not as common, but when we see this happen is when the rainmaker continues to get all the listings and they tip out all the buyers. That's kind of how Peter started. But also sometimes people build teams where they have a rainmaker selling and everybody under them can work listings and buyers. It's just that rainmaker's decision on how they set up the team. So this guy right here hires this guy. And this person, when they sell a house, they're going to split a portion of that sale back to the rainmaker. Every sale, not just the ones that this guy gave the lead, every sale. I'm going to do easy math. Let's say it's 50-50. Okay. So let's math this. If this agent is selling 3 transactions a month. Okay, so 36 units times 10,000 is 360,000 divided by what? 2, 50%. So this guy's making 180 and this guy's kicking 180 to this guy. Make sense? So when this guy sells, when the Rainmaker sells, he does not ever split money to this guy. Make sense? I see that sometimes. I'm like, nope, that's wrong. Because this guy is paying all the expenses. Peter pays all the expenses, right? I mean, this guy's probably paying his MLS dues, his monthly office bill, right? But this guy has got a space they work in. He's got an admin team. He's buying all the signs, might be buying all the lock boxes. He's got all the leads coming in. He's got operating costs that the agents underneath him do not have. So what is the question that's happening in your mind right now? What's your brain think about this setup?
His, what's left over? What's he got left over after paying all of the?
Oh, what's he left over? Okay, that's a model that we call 30-30-40. Actually, Lindsay just taught this. You should be about 40% net profit. The question that people usually ask is, why would this guy split his deals with this guy? Why would they split it? I actually asked James Harris that question one day. I'll tell you what he told me, but
Just if they're new and they don't have the database or. Where you get these.
yeah, you got to ask yourself, do you want to have 50% of 36 deals or 100% of 5? This is a net income game. How am I going to transact the fastest and make the most amount of money? So this is true story. I actually asked James this. When I started in 2019 here, I was like getting all acclimated as a team leader, and I bump into James Harris in the hallway, and I'm like, "Tell me your story, James." And he said, "Well, I think he started at Plumtree or something. It's like I started this kind of discount brokerage." And he said it wasn't going very well. So I was actually interviewing for a full-time job. And I said, well, how many houses did you sell? I said, I sold 7 houses my first year. I said, okay. And he's like, but I'm the breadwinner. And that wasn't going to cut it. So I was getting a job and Peter called. And I said, okay. And I said, so how many houses did you sell your first year with Peter? He said, I sold 72. But it goes like 72. And I said, okay, wow, he goes, yeah, it was great. And I said, okay, so what did you do the next year? He said, I did 120 listings. Okay. Now we're like on year 3 or 4. I said, so what did you do last year? He said, I did 127 listings. I said, okay. So then I asked the question, well, why do you stay on the team? I'm just curious, like what is the reason you stay? And he said, it's such a great gig, Tara. Like I can literally get up. I have a job. Like I go to work, I get my listings, I get to have my nights and weekends for the most part. Everybody else runs my files. I think he's making $250,000, $300,000 a year. He's like, it's the best gig going. Why did he stay long term? Well, he's now the CEO of the Shabreaker, which is the #1 real estate team since then. So he continued to show up, and Peter continued to develop him, put him in better roles, right? But he's still with them. It's been almost 10 years, I think. So it doesn't always make sense for the guy on the bot. A lot of us are entrepreneurs and we think like, this guy's not going to stay. Well, if this guy makes it a really great opportunity, they'll stay. But you got to keep growing yourself and your world to where they get everything they want. For James, $250,000 or $300,000 a year was enough. He didn't want to go build his own thing. He just wanted to plug into somebody else's and run. So from a market center perspective, I'm going to do cap, big cap. If you are selling this many units, you absolutely should be on this cap. If you're selling more than about 12 units a year, you should be on the big cap because we can completely zero out your cap through your own transaction fees. It's just math. But what we do in the market center, so Rainmaker pays cap plus royalty. Because Keller Williams supports team business, team growth, we know this guy's splitting deals with you, maybe 50-50s, whatever you decide. We split our cap. So this guy would be on an 8,500 cap plus 3,000 in royalty. So the brokerage, this brokerage reduces the cap of the people on a Rainmaker's team by half. They have to be on the same pay plan. And that is our way of saying, we're going to support you because we know they're splitting business with you. So there's a financial model here that supports team building. Okay. Any other questions on like that basic setup?
So when you have a team, you still have the 20,000.
You still have the 20, but here's what's interesting. Most of the time, especially if you have multiple of these, let's say I have 3 of these, do it 3 a month. What's 180,000 times 3? 52,000? 520? Sorry. So if I have 3 agents on my team doing 3 deals a month and they're splitting 50-50, these guys have made 520. What's this guy made? 520. 520. Because he's getting half. Doesn't have to be half. I'm gonna use half. Half is kind of common. So Adrian, to answer your question, every time they split a deal up, if he's not capped, it gets processed as cap money. So a lot of times these guys end up capping the Rainmaker. This guy has to be capping, by the way. You have to be a capper to run a team here. So you got to be producing at some level. But yes, it does. You got 1 cap and half caps underneath. Any other questions on like basic setup? Is this helpful? You learning a lot? Tony, are you learning anything new?
Just taking it in.
Taking it in? Okay. You just came to hang out with me today. Okay. So that's Rainmaker sales agent. This is the most traditional way to build a team. Another option we see, not as common, I just want to show you because it does come up periodically, is we have 2 Rainmakers. This would be a partnership. Husband and wife's pretty common. My recommendation on this is to only do it with family members. But you absolutely are probably not going to listen to me, and that's okay. So, but I've never seen a partnership last more than like 5 years, if that long. But if you decide you want a partnership, you can do that. The market center is going to request a partnership agreement and probably an LLC that all the money goes into, and the commissions process a certain way. But in this scenario, we have 1 cap plus half cap plus 2 royalties. 17, what is that? 25.5, 31.5. Both agents, anything they sell applies to a cap and a half and 2 royalties. So it's just it's not vertical, it's horizontal. And then they can go hire sales agents on half caps. So you can do it that way. Yeah. So that's a partnership. So back to AJ's question, which was, well, I don't know what you asked, but I started talking about policies basically.
What it wasn't.
So what happens if you wanted to start a team, basically? It's a 3 to 4 page document. It's just called a Rainmaker policy agreement. And it defines some of the stuff we've already talked about, like what is a team and what is a group, how the cap works, if you have a team or a group, what are partnerships. It specifies that the Rainmaker needs to be capping, and we have 5 or 6 recommendations, like we'd like for you to have a MAPS coach. we'd like for you to be hiring or have hired an executive assistant. You know, there's just some vague parameters. Because at some level now, we are gonna help you hire people. So we love teams. We will help find people for you. But also when they're in your world, we take the back seat a little bit. So we want to make sure that we're setting everybody up for success well. The other thing in that agreement is you have to have your rainmaker an agreement between you and the people you hire. We call it a sales agent agreement or buyer's agent agreement. I have templates I usually give people and they R&D it. But the main thing we need as a brokerage is we need we need the divorce decree. We need to know what the dissolution terms are. Because if an agent joins the team and they part ways, I want to make sure I say this loud and clear. We love our top producers, but also we love all of our agents. And we don't ever want to get in the middle of a disagreement on how people are going to get paid because you all didn't specify those terms. So if it's not in writing, we will not enforce it. So if an agent leaves the team, who gets the database? If an agent leaves the team, how do we pay on the pending files that they're working? If an agent leaves the team, what happens to all the leads given them? If they leave the team, what happens to the pipeline? That's the stuff we need to see. And if an agent leaves the team, actually the contract says that you'll provide in writing any transactions that they're to be paid on, and both parties have to sign it. And I've gotten on calls with teams separating, and there's a little bit of conflict sometimes, like a breakup. And we've had to help them navigate 123 Main Street. Where did the lead come from? It's gonna close in 3 weeks. How are we gonna pay it? Because we've got to button it up so that everybody is the win-win in culture. And then our accounting department doesn't get it. Like she just wants to pay everybody fast, right? So, those are the main things with the policies is how you're gonna pay them, how the caps work, and then what happens if you part ways. So, that's,
I have a question.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm still like back a couple pages.
it's a lot, I know, and I've like talked for a straight hour, so.
So I was just wondering, when they said, you know, you have a buyer's agent and then you get 50/50.
Mhm.
What does that commission check look like? Does that come off
That's a good question.
as well? Or like,
Yeah, let me show you that, because I usually draw that and I didn't, so let me do that for you. So commission check comes in, it's $10,000. Gross commission, GCI. If there's a referral, it gets paid first, just know. But let's say there's no referral. We're gonna split it. Rainmaker. Agent. If it's 50/50, then 5,000 goes here. And 5,000 goes here. Okay? If this agent's capped, they keep their 5,000. If they're not, it processes it as part of their cap. If this agent is capped, they keep their 5,000. If not, it processes as part of their cap. So each one gets their split of the check, and then it processes through the market center splits based on the market center splits. If the Rainmaker has a fee, a transaction fee, which I would recommend 100% of the time, but let's say that the Rainmaker's transaction fee is like $4.99. That is a team fee generally. This guy's everybody on the team charges it, but all of that money goes back to the Rainmaker to cover expenses or TC or whatever they use those for. So that's kind of the general flow of money. 50/50 is not an abnormal split if a team gives somebody a lead. Some teams, like if it's the agent's database business, they'll give them like a 10% bump. Or, you know, just however, there's sometimes different tiers. But, you know, Gary says in the MREA, you don't really want to get too far off 50/50. I've seen top producers go up to like 70, 75, 25 or something. But generally speaking, the agents joining teams are looking for leads, mentoring, administrative support, marketing, like they need something from you, so it's gonna cost you something. And then my last note on here, guys, was just coaching. We have the playbook, right? I hired a coach in 2016. It really did change my life. I've not been without a coach for like 10 years. I've had a maths coach for 10 years. If you guys are interested in coaching, just text me because I've got a great person that like kind of vets you and the coaches. And tries to get you a really good fit at MAPS, but the coaching really helped me because I actually didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to hire an admin. I hired one at softball. So the second time with my coach, she said, you just do this week. Next week, you do this. Next week, and I just did what she said, and we built it together, so it helped me a lot.
Sure, some more ugly. So I feel like there's a lot of good and bad, but not super ugly.
Ugly, there's more ugly.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, like. You bump into somebody in the kitchen and go, hey, you should be on my team. It's ugly. I mean, you should vet people. You should interview them, even the sales agents, right? I am a fan of having an office in the market center. My team came in a couple hours every day together. We did script practice and role plays, even if they made calls for an hour, but like going like, hey, be on my team, and you don't show up and they never see you, doesn't work well. I would say if you're gonna build a team, you've got to put your goals on the board, hit your numbers, and then hold them accountable to hitting their numbers. That's just a leadership thing in my mind. But I mean, there's 1,000 ways it could really go wrong. But when you learn it, I mean, I'll say this, it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill. So probably just get yourself ready for your first admin hire is not gonna go awesome. It's okay. That's how you learn. You go, man, I should not have hired that person. Every time you do it, you get better. And every time I hired somebody in my team, I tweaked my agreement. Because when somebody would leave, I would go, oh, shoot, I didn't have that in there. So it's like a constant evolution of you trying something, learning from it, and evolving it to make it better. Yeah, what could go wrong? I don't know. I worked for the largest real estate team in the company I worked for Cody Gibson in 2016, 2017. We had 220 people on the team and like 100 market centers. I've seen it at that scale. And also I know that a team of 4 people can net $1 million a year in their business. So some people do lots of agents. Some people want a few selling a lot. You can collaborate with people. I mean, I would just say, if you're gonna do this, go shadow teams, go shadow Peter's team, go shadow other teams in the region, right? Like the cool thing about Keller team, listen to the MREA podcast. It's right full of mistakes, right? Like these guys tried this, tried that, it didn't work, so. Yeah, I'll say like the breakups are hard and it, like 2 or 3 weeks later, it's fine.
It's just like the police sharing is probably, maybe if somebody leaves your team, maybe you have that written in the agreement, yes.
Yeah, like best practice, they join and input theirs, and when they leave, that's all they take. What you brought in, you can take out. Some teams don't let them take it out. I mean, so you gotta decide if you're a rainmaker, and if you're gonna join a team, you really wanna research that client brand. It gets messy when they fix it, like it's all the messy stuff is generally have to stay. Or we hire people, we don't show up, and neither do they, and it just doesn't go well. I look at teams as the agents you bring into your business are a walking billboard for your brand. So how do they dress? How do they present? Are they selling? Or is everybody on your team selling 1 unit a year? Because if you want to attract more great people, they're gonna look at the current people you have. So it's ultimately leadership. If you wanna build a team, go read John Maxwell books, go, study. leaders, it's all Simon Sinek's leadership principles. You just form out into a business that you own. Right?
That would be our leadership.
We all,
That probably
We all do.
update.
it's messy. Yeah, leadership is messy. What do they say? Like if you want to make everybody happy, go sell ice cream, don't be a leader, because it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, really hard. It's challenging, I should say.
Is there an appropriate way to, what if you want to join a team, or what if you want someone to join a team? What's the appropriate or best way?
To join the team. So, oh, one second, let me just text these guys. If you are considering joining a team, I would honestly say go interview them all. Because every team is different. The value proposition they provide is different, and the vibe or the culture of the team is gonna be in direct alignment with the Rainmaker. They're all different. And if you are gonna start a team, I would say hire a coach, have a plan for where you're heading. So, quick story, when I was building my sales team, I was running ads and I got in front of a girl that, I mean, she scared me. It's like, she was super talented. She'd been like pharmaceutical sales. And I'm like, you should come work with me. She's like, so tell me about your business. And I'm like, well, it's gonna be great. We're gonna do big things. She's like, what kind of things? We're just gonna sell a lot of real estate. It's gonna be awesome. That was how I mean, this is new. I was new, right? I mean, I was new in team building, and I'm like, most real estate agents, kind of pie in the sky. It's gonna be great. We're gonna do big things, and it's gonna be really awesome. We're gonna make a lot of money. And she wanted to know, what is the path? Like, how much money am I gonna make in your business the first year that I work with you? I could calculate that now, but at that time, I had no idea. It was an economic model. I had no idea. And so, of course, she did. So what I did after that is I called my coach and I said, I don't think I got her because I didn't have a good plan. And so we built my 5-year org chart. She said, I want an org chart for where you're at today and where you're gonna be 5 years from now, who's on the team and how much are you selling. And so the next time I sat in front of somebody talented, I said, it's gonna be awesome. What do you mean? Let me show you where we're at, and let me show you where we're going. And all these seats are empty. When I hire the right people, these are gonna be growth opportunities. And so then I could attract people because they're like, well, this person's got their stuff together. I didn't know how to do that. So I don't know how it's done. You're thinking about it, interview them all. And the ultimate truth is, guys, like 2 transactions a month is not a lot. So the ultimate reality is, I mean, I talk to agents all the time, like, I don't want to manage people and I don't want to have a team. Okay, that's cool. So you're probably at some level choosing that you're going to put a ceiling on your business. And you can do that. Like, you literally can do that. Or you can tip out all your showings or deals to other people. But if you want to do something great and actually keep it in your brand, at some level, you're going to have to make a tough decision of, I got to man up to figure out how to lead people. That's the hard job, actually.
Is there a timeline on this? Is there an average? I don't know if that can even be determined.
Yeah, so we teach a class called 36-12-3. And 36-12-3, it's an old class. It used to be like before Ignite. And the class was how to sell 36 transactions in 12 months, working 3 hours a day. And when we teach 36-12-3 in the very beginning, it says, the purpose of this class is to get you to more than 24 units in your first year so you can hire an executive assistant. So I think it's hard to do all the jobs. And I think that if it were me and that were my goal to build a team, I would say, how fast can I get to 24 and go ahead and get myself leverage? So it's really how long you're gonna allow it to take. As we see agents come in and they have other experience usually, not not like 20-year-olds. Not that a 20-year-old can't do it, but people that come in and have other business experience or corporate experience, they get like operations and people. They can come in and just transfer that into real estate and they can take off a little bit faster sometimes. And I see people come in like a year, they're like, I'm ready to start my team. Let's go.
Where are they, all these classes? Are they on Connect? Is that what you said?
All the resources that are in Connect, and then usually by Tony, the region does a regional career visioning every year, once or twice a year. Peter sometimes teaches career visioning. There's probably Zoom options in Connect, yeah. There's probably recordings on YouTube.
3612.
3612.3. It's actually a lead generation course, 3612.3 lead generation course. Career visioning is keep building. Go to the franchise events. Get to Mega Camp, get to family reunion, and go to those rooms where they're talking about building teams, listen to the NRA podcast as much as you can, and then like just study the heck out of this book. Because this is the manual for it. It's the model. Wow.
I can help something. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming. You let me know how we can help. We are kind of we're on a little bit of a mission to build more teams, so if it's something that you're interested in doing, for sure, connect with me or Kelly or Lindsay or Patrick, you know, and just let them know like, hey, this is where I want to go. I know right now we've only got 4 or 5 offices open. So they are looking for people that are going to build and scale, because once those are gone, you're going to lose your seat for your admin, at least in this building. And so specifically, they're looking for who in the next year is going to go to 24 and potentially hire an admin that we can have a space for them. So that you definitely talk to Patrick or Melissa. So, okay, guys.
There's Matt.
Patrick.